Hello everyone, it's Vass. I am in the Six Flags over Norrath house build that I'm working on. This is the next episode. I wanted to make sure I caught everyone up on what has been done. The pathing I have continued. I have the map sign in, which I believe I covered in the last episode. I am working on the Kinos section of the park, and the carousel is completed. Got my little fountain in the front, and the path, I have continued it all the way around this time, and I have my fireworks in the back. So the fireworks, the carousel is pretty much done. So this is the Lion's Mane carousel, and I did have some issues with this house. When I first put in the carousel, I had it closer about where this bench is, and there was an issue with the placement within this particular house. It is a very strange bug, but I thought I'd share it since other people will be building in the Tenebrous Tangle. If I come over to the wall here, you might have noticed from my first episode that I had issues where I would run through the wall. Right here, this spot, basically all the way across the zone, there's issues with it. So if I have that carousel out here, whenever you walk up the steps to the platform, you would actually fall through the platform. It was like it wasn't there. So that's why I had to shift that back. It did eat away some space from the other areas of the park, but hopefully I'll be able to work around it. It gave me a big open area at the front, which is also good though. That way whenever you first come into the park, it's not congested. At one point I will be recreating this little planter here minus the map over to this section. This will have a flower planter instead of just the map in it. A bunch of flowers would be in there. I've got my waste bin and my benches for the Kinos area in. The waste bins I'll probably keep the same throughout the park. I have worked on the circus, which is another attraction in the Kinos section. I've got my lion tamer here. I've got, thanks to Demoris, she gave me the idea of having the using the rickety stage stairs as like bleacher seats, which actually saved a little bit of item count instead of using a bunch of benches along the sides. I have my animal trainer here with my little pink elephant and my bear balancing the ball. I have the ringmaster here. I have the safety net for my tightrope walker that's up top. The only thing I need to do as far as this section to finish it off is actually add their comments. Actually, I think there's one more item. My little monkey. Oh, he is a pet, not a plushie. That's not good. Well, let's move you over here because you would fall through that and nobody would see you. So tell you to stay and hopefully you'll stay. It's not good because pets fall through items. They fall down to the floor of the house. So anything I put it on, if I put it up here on the post, it would fall through the bottom of the post. So too bad it's a pet, not a plushie, but now I at least have my little monkey in here. What's a 3-ring circus without monkeys, right? Okay, so continuing on, I am going to have a ticket booth here for the circus. I'm debating on if I'm going to complete this or not, depending if I have the item count. So that might be something that's a detail at the end of the park. Might not be right away. This part of the path will actually continue to another ride that's going to be the last ride for Kinos. And then it'll go through and go into Gorowin. I will show you parts of that in a moment. This part over here I've got started. I've got things placed down that I'll be working with, which will be the main focus for today, and it will be part the third feature in the Kino section. The fourth feature is going to be the Kinos Aqueducts log flume. So that is what I have placed over here. I have off screen put some of the track pieces together to make it easier for myself. I've got this particular one right here going east and west, and I've started working on a curve here. That way I can just copy these pieces and move them around to where I can actually get some 45 degree and 90 degree curves. And I've got my slope put together for whenever we had the big splashdown, which will be over here. So I've got my pieces here, that way I can continue that part. It will have a couple of little dips, and then of course the big dip at the end, and then it will come back up to the actual station, which I plan on having at the top. This will probably be in the next episode, maybe 2 episodes from now, when I actually start putting all this together and fitting the pieces together. So today I am going to focus on the third feature for the Kino section, and I am going to turn these off for now, that way they're not popping in the video. Well, I thought I turned them all off. Stop that one. Now the city fireworks containers, they actually have to be turned on every time you enter the house. That's these 6. Now the big one in the middle is actually a row candle, and it is the only fireworks that doesn't give off the loud pops, and it stays on. So even when you leave the house and come back, you will still see the confetti, the streamers, all that will be still active whenever you come in. And I wanted to put that there to draw attention that there is a fireworks display here. So now to work on the next part. I am missing one item, which is probably in my bags. Now to find it. There we go. That was quick and easy. Yeah, my bags are completely full of house items. Can you believe it? When are my bags not completely full? Okay, so I am going to copy that and load up the layout editor and get those in the exact same center point. Okay, and I've got my 6 flags. And I want to copy the Vasty Deep medallion to the same location here. Save that. Load back into game. Okay. So then I can bring this down. Just till it gets to the ground, and I want to make that one as big as I can. Yes, I am a flying Othmere, floating Othmere. Okay, so I planned on having the actual steps to get into it here. So I need to get the location, the north-south location of this, and copy it here. Just the north-south location. That way I'll move the center points of these items to that north-south location. I don't want to put it in the exact same spot because of course then it's going to be overlapping the path and everything else. So the east and west will stay the same. I just need that north-south location. So I'm going to save. Let me open up my little options window. Okay, and second one to get a difference. And I need to copy my north-south location. Just the number. And I'll save. So nothing was changed here. I just copied that number so I could use it. Okay, so load it, puts it back where it was, then save. And I am going to move this and this and reload those and paste my north-south there. Then apply edits and save all. Load those, and it put my north-south where it needs to be. That way I can line it up. Now I will be eventually moving it over, but I'm planning on doing another staircase here, which I have right beside it. So that way you can go up to actually get into the ride, which I don't know if I've mentioned, but this is actually going to be a Gravitron type ride. If you think of North Kinos, the Temple of Life, that is my inspiration for this. So it is part of Kinos. It is the Temple of Life Gravitron. So that is what I'm working on today. So the next thing I need to do is extend my staircase. So copy that one and that. And this is the larger one. That's the one I want to use. So I'll copy that location to this one. And let's move it up one and to the west one, just to start out. We'll load that up. and it's not quite far enough. The height might be good. It might line up with the bottom of, or the bottom of the second one might line up with the top of the first one. So let's move it west one more. Okay, so it is a little off. Let's see, do I want to, I don't want to make a big step there. So what I might do is sink this down. And then bring it back to the east a little bit. So we'll do that. Pull it up so it knows there's a difference. And load the difference. And we will do 0.1 to the east. Actually think that lined up just right. Well, not quite, but let me look. Those columns are pretty centered. Just barely off, so I think it's actually good. So I'm just going to hit escape so it'll go back where it was. I was just pulling it up to check it. So now I've got my stairs up, and of course I'll put a platform leading out to the actual ride, and this platform is nowhere as big as it needs to be. It will get bigger. But I actually worked with Demora and Xerox last night a little bit after doing some adventuring. To get different ideas, and a lot of things that I was trying wasn't going to work. But I think I've got it down. I played around with it a little bit. We will be using the circle tool, so people that are familiar with the layout editor but are not very secure with using the circle tool, we will be using that. Either this video or the next video, probably this video. So I am going to make this a little bigger. Actually, I think that's max. Yes, that's max. How big is it compared to the fountain? It's just smaller than the fountain, so that's fine. And yes, as you can see, you can sink things in and make really nice features. Little water feature right there. Hit escape. Okay, so one of the problems I ran into is almost everything I was trying was gonna require 4 items. 2 for a top and 2 for a bottom. And I was trying to avoid that, but I just could not get anything that would give me the look I wanted and give the feel of the Gravitron. This, however, I think I can get to work. I need to flip it over and you'll see why I have an issue. So let me save it here at this scale, and I'll raise it up. Get a second so I can get a difference. Load those up. There it is. And I will rotate it 180 degrees. Okay, so now it is 180. The layout editor, the actual game does not like solid numbers like that, so it'll probably change it eventually to 179.9999, but it's so close it doesn't matter. Oh, not rotate, roll. Duh. Roll 180. it has sunk into the ground, or has it? It has not. If you take a peek, it's still there. It's just invisible on the top. Don't you just love that? And now I'm stuck underneath it. So let's move this up some. Not that. I have to get an angle so I can see it. Move it up. Can I get out? Yes, I can get out. Okay. So now you see the issues I was having. A lot of the items I was wanting to use are invisible on the bottom. So if I used it as a floor, I would have an invisible floor, and I'd have to put in another floor, which means using another item. The other thing is I would have an invisible top, an invisible ceiling, which might be cool in some instances, but in this case I needed a solid ceiling. So the next thing I'm going to do is copy this, and I'm going to center my powered Ethereum pad underneath. I love those things. That will give it that blue shiny underneath that you see in North Kinos where it's floating over the water. And I will also be adding this in there, the little lantern wellspring that we got from the Moonlight Grottos. So we'll put those in there. So Vasti Deep Medallion, powered, copy those so they have the same location. I don't need to have those rolled, so I am just going to negative roll them back. And as you see, it already has changed them to 0.99984. So technically this can be 0 or 360. Load those up. And that Ethereum platform is huge. That's a scale of 3, and that is a max scale. Well, that's a scale I put it at was 3. It might actually be 6, but or 2 or 1. Okay, so I've got that one in there. My wellspring needs to come down. And I want it just barely out. Just those round circles. Actually, that circle that's bobbing. There we go. Okay, so this one right here, let's see if I can make it just big enough. That will probably work. It might be a little small. Okay, save. Bring it up so I can rotate that one, because I do need that one rotated. And it was 1.69. So instead of negative 180, we'll just put it at, not that. No, I could stay at 0. Instead of 0 roll, we will do 180 roll. And there we go. Bring this down, and it does look like I got it pretty good. It's a little small. See if I can just adjust it. Not gonna be easy. But that will be inside anyway. The only thing we will be seeing is the blue at the bottom, the blue swirl. Actually, that might not work, because it's going to be way too high. If I lower it down to the pool, you won't see anything. I should have tried that out before doing this video. Okay, so that's not going to work exactly the way I wanted. And I don't want it sticking down like that, because it's going to take away from the look of the item. You cover up most of that, so it's like not even there. So let's just remove that. And we'll just use that for the... Actually, hold on. Powered Ethereum pad, where are you? You would have been up here. There you are. Will you load it? Yes, you will. Good. I was afraid it was going to take it from over here, because I do have them in here, and a lot of times it will pull from other items. Okay, so on second thought, maybe I can shrink it down, since there's going to be a floor over there anyway, and sink it in. And that actually does not look bad. I like that. That'll work. It's got that glow to it. The little ring is about where the water spring is, so that's cool. Okay. Glad I second guessed myself. Okay, so as you see here, I've got another one of those spires for the ceiling, which we will get to. And then I have the draconic stages. These things get massive. Huge. Which is also what I use for the carousel part for that brickwork. However, the bottom is invisible. Yep, you can see through it. You can walk through it. Cannot walk through the top. Except when you get over to that little glitchy area right there. It goes all the way across the zone. Developers, if you watch this, you need to fix it. It goes all the way across the zone, and somewhere around here, maybe I got it fixed. Oop. There we go. It's got that hole in the wall. And it's a weird curve. It's not a straight line because the hole's over here. But it doesn't affect it straight across. Otherwise my carousel still would have been in trouble. So it kind of curves around towards that front gate and back over. So it's a very weird glitch. And I think it is the same way with the Ethanir house. I believe it has another little spot that you have issues with building in because you'll go through them, which kind of makes me think it's the same zone, just reskinned. It's the same layout. They used one to make the other and reskinned it. Give me just a moment. Sorry about that. Okay, so I need to actually use this platform in conjunction to this platform over here, which is what I was talking about with the double items. So I am going to move this one and move this one. So I can copy those to the same location. Vastly Deep is the main one I want to use. And copy that. And I want it going up and down so you can see the floor and not fall through it. And it's massively too big. I'll shrink that down. And I might have to play around with it a little bit to get it just right. Because since it's a huge item, one little nudge and it goes across your screen. Okay, that looks pretty close. Now, can I sink that down? No, because it goes through. Okay. And actually, a little bit smaller would be fine. Because I will actually be lining up the walls with the outside of this, which should cover up that. The good thing about this platform is if you can see the edge of that and the inverted platform beneath it, the Vastly Deep stone medallion, that and the Draconic Spire both have the same same number of sides. It's 20 sides. Excuse me. So they fit well together. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is actually my walls. This is where the circle tool will be coming into effect. So I have these right here. I am not sure if you're aware of these, what these items are. Give me a sec to put these down. And if you hadn't noticed, what I did is I dragged the icon from my bags to my hotbar, so I can either use Alt 9 because that's the hotbar that I put it on, or I can just click it from here instead of clicking it from my bags. Just a little tip that might make things easier for people. If you do have lag while you're doing this, I would say be careful when you're pulling them out, because sometimes it will think that you already have one and it won't let you pull out another one because of the lag. If that's the case, just put it back in your bag and use it again from your hotbar. Oops. Don't know why I'm being so picky putting these in the same spot. Just habit, I guess. Okay, so these are the weathered wide library bookcase. There is a short one that is just got 2 rows of books, and it's about half this size at the bottom 2 shelves. Then there is a low one that is 2 rows of the shelves but longer. No, that's the long one. The low one is the one that's half. And then there is a tall one, like if you were to cut this one in half, take the right half and stack it on top of the left half, then you would have it really tall. So there's those 4, and then there is a circular one, which is very much the same look, same style, just the circular one. Can't think of the zone right now that these are actually in, but we actually have the house that we can get from Prestige off of the marketplace that has those in there as well. But these are the items I will be using, and if I bring it over here, you can look. The design is the same between the two, so they match very well together. I was very excited when we got this Vastly Deep stone medallion, which makes me think this is from the weathered bookcases or a Vastly Deep item. So now I need to use the circle tool. I played around with this a little bit with different bookcases and so on, and if I actually use the bookcase as the walls, the issue I get if I try to fit them to the actual wall is they are really short. The tall ones were massively tall. It would not look like a Temple of Life at all. The same thing with the low and the long. The long would take up 2 of these spots, and it wouldn't have the same outline around it. The low was like way smaller than this one, so I would have to use like 5 of them stacked up. However, with this particular one, which we will do in the circle tool, we can roll it, don't give me that womp womp. Okay, we can roll it and make it stop with the womp womp. Make it bigger. And it will give me basically the approximation. It's having collision issues, so it's giving me that womp womp message, which Layout Editor helps not have that problem so much. But with them like that, layered all the way around, please, I'm in the circle, the glitchy area, I'm in it, so I might have to move this ride further back or closer to the wall. Grr. So with these, I should have noticed it walking through the fountain, because I can't walk through on this side. Come on, developers, fix that. That's probably why I'm getting that little womp womp message. But with these all the way around, they should be tall enough. Just tall enough. You want to feel kind of claustrophobic in there. Let me test with a Kara. Actually, I could test with my Kara self. Oh, look at there. There's Vass. It's no longer an Othmere. Yep. I can fit in here. Might be a little cramped for Sarnax and so on. Sarnax and trolls and ogres. The barbarians maybe. The taller races rather than the medium and the small. But that is what we're going to work on next. Let's see. I need to move this and this. Now, if I had these items anywhere else in this zone, I would not be able to use the moving crate portion of the circle tool, because even though you would put these in the moving crate, which is an issue with using the moving crate, period, in my opinion. That's why I do the way I use the layout editor the way I do. I move it to get a new from difference rather than putting it in the crate and getting a with and without. Because if I had these items in another portion of this build, let's say I had this all finished and I used those items over here, and then I tried to make this circle tool over here, even though I would have them in the crate and I would say to pull it from the crate, I might get lucky, it might pull one from over here. I might get lucky and it might not pull any from over here. But I've had it too many times pull 4 or 5 items randomly from some other area that I've already pre-built in the house to use over here and leave the others in the moving crate, which does not make sense. And then that requires that I have to come back over here and rebuild what I've already built. I spend hours on something just to have it destroyed because it didn't pull it from the moving crate. So that is my little rant about why I am different with the layout editor and do not use the moving crate unless I absolutely have to. It's just the way I build. So we will be able to use the moving crate since I don't have these anywhere else in the house. So I've got that and I've got that. Save the difference. Okay, load them up in game. And the reason why we have the Draconic Spire platform is we need the center point because we're going to be doing the circle from that center point. And we technically don't even need that, but I needed it for the item ID. So, tools, create objects, circle or spiral. And you can name it, you don't have to. We'll just call it Gravitron. Okay, and we want to do the XY plane. You can do the east-west where it will rotate it on it'll do the circle on the east-west side or the north-south side. We will be doing the floor plane because we want the circle on the floor. Okay, so center point. We will copy. Paste. Copy. And paste. And oops, copy there. And paste. Okay, so total angle, if we only wanted to do half circle, would be 180. But we are doing a full circle, so it'll be 360 degrees. Oops. And number of steps. We have 20 sides, so we will do 20. Radius, it's just a guess for now. I am going to think on the lines of a tile at normal scale of 1. The radius would probably be 3 or 4. So let's do 4. Okay, start angle is the position of the very first angle that it starts at. That you can play around with. I usually play around with that at the end, so I know which way I need to move it. Z increase, that will increase your up and down, which is your Z. So each step of the 20, which I believe I've described this in previous videos, but each step of the 20, it will go up whatever number you put here. So if I have a circle and I have one item on the ground level at that Z number and I have a 1 here, the next item that goes in that circle will go up. The next item will go up whatever that number is. If it's 1, it'll go up 1, then it'll go up 2, then it'll go up 3, 4, all the way around, and it will make a spiral down or up. If you have a negative, it'll go spiral down. The radius increase, what that will do with the 0 increase here on the Z increase and a number in the radius increase, what that will do is each one of these steps of the 20, it will increase that radius whatever number this is. So if you have a radius of 4, the next step it'll go, the first step it'll go 4, the next step it'll go 5 if you have a 1 here. The next step will be 6 and so on. So what that will do is give you a spiral that's flat. So very decorative spiral that's flat. I won't be doing any of those because I'm not doing a spiral staircase. I'm not doing a flat spiral design. I'm just doing a circle. That's why it's a circle and spiral tool. We are just doing the circle part. Now, item name. This is the item that you will be using to do your circle. You can leave it in A or you can copy and paste. It doesn't really need anything. That's just for your benefit because whenever it lists them in here, it will have that as the name. If it's in A, if you leave it in A, that's fine. Whenever it lists it in the list in the layout editor, it will have that in A so you can see it over the other items. If you list it the exact same name, the only way you'll be able to see that they're different is over in the notes column. It'll say created by circle tool. So I usually would just leave it at NA. You could name it whatever you want, but item ID is important because the system needs that ID number. So we're going to copy that. I'll tab back over and paste it in there. Now right here, use UID from crate. This is what I was talking about. If you put those all in the crate and you click that, it's supposed to pull them from the crate. It doesn't always do that. The only time that I've known it to work perfectly is if I put all those in the crate, left the house, came in, did a save, and reloaded from there like I was working a different day. If I go into the house now, put them all in the crate, if there were other items of that ID somewhere else in the house, it mainly focuses on that ID before it focuses on that crate. So it'd pull it from the ID, that ID from other places in the house. Okay, so item starts rotations. This is if you want that beginning item pitched, rolled, rotated, etc. I'm not going to mess with pitch. I am not going to mess with rotate. However, as we know, I want that item rolled because it starts out like this, and I actually want it going up and down, which is different on this side. That's the way I want it, so I need to have it rolled. So I am going to do a 90 for the roll. Item scale. If I flip back over, my scale of the weathered white leather bookcase is a 0.7299 bunches of numbers. And that is the reason why I went ahead and put one over here to try it out, to see what scale I could get it to, so I can get something to go by. So for item scale, it was 0.72, so we'll do 0.73. So 0.73. Okay, now we've gotten all of our information in. Create. It puts it in a new group. I name that group Gravitron. They're all in here. They're over in the main. Now, if you had used all 20 of those items and got a new from difference of those 20 items, which you can, but you don't have to, because you just need to use the one to get the information. It would have 20 of those bookcases plus the 20 of the ones that were created by the spiral tool. So, I don't want this because I don't have 21. I only have 20. So I am going to highlight that and delete it out of there. Okay, now that I've got these in here, I'm going to apply those edits, save all, and load in game. Okay, so as you see, it did my circle. It did not do exactly what I wanted. I like that blue effect in there though. That looks cool. That teal blue in there. Okay, so it did not do exactly what I wanted it to do. So first off, it didn't go out far enough. Okay, so my radius is too small. And if I just grab this and play around with it, okay, so my center point, my pivot point on the bookcase is there, as you see. So from the center to there is 4. So I believe it was 4 was what I did for the radius. So whatever that number is going to have to be bigger. Not quite twice as much, because from the center to there is pretty big. So maybe if it's 4, go to 6. The other thing is that they do need rotated to start out, because right now they're not rotated, and it is not this way like it should be. So we're going to fix that now. I'm going to hit escape to put it back. Okay, so oops, yes, you can change the heights of items, the fields. Okay, so those I don't need anymore. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go over to my group, and it still says the Gravitron. I'm going to delete the group. That way, whenever I create the new one, I can just use the same name. Okay, create tools, create objects, circle spiral. It kept the last information that I used. It makes it a lot easier. So my rotate needs to be 90. Okay, so my radius was 4. It needs to be about 6. And we will try this again. Okay, I've got my 21 items, which is my Draconic Spire platform, which I just used for the center point, and my 20 bookcases. So apply all, save all, and load. Almost, not quite. Okay, let's delete these. Go back, circle, spiral. Let's do 6.2. Let's see, what is the pivot point? It's there, so it might be bigger than 6.2. So let's do 6.5. Let's try that. Okay, and it looked like it rotated. Well, if I rotate the whole thing, it might actually line up better. But let's start with a rotation of 85. Let's see what that does. Oops, group name already exists. Please enter another name. That is because I didn't go to the group and delete that group. So now it'll let me do it. Gather 21, apply, save all, and load it up. Okay, so that is a little bit too far. If I can peek around here, it sticks out a little bit too much. Now the 85 brought it in a little bit closer. However, I did notice that they are curved with the walls on the inside. I would much rather have them on the outside. So let's go to, actually I believe if you just delete the group, you can just start from there, delete those. Spiral tool. Okay, so if we added 180 to this, then the 8 and 8 would be 16. So if we did 165. No, 265. 265. See if that flips it around the other way. The other thing I could do is, well, let's do it that way. Negative 85 instead of the positive 85. Okay, and the 6.5 was a little too far out. We will change that to 6.4. See if that works. I think the item scale was okay. They're going to overlap a little bit, which is fine. Okay, create, apply, save all, and load in game. Okay, that did flip it over where it's on the outside. That's good. It is still too far out. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, it needs to go further out because I want it to cover up the edge of that Draconic Spire platform, but I want it to go to the edge of this platform. And the center pivot point is there, so it can actually go out a little further. So instead of 6.4, it should be like 6.6. So we will do 6.6, and let's try negative 80. Gonna be just trying around until we get it exactly where we want it. and apply edit, save all, load. Ooh, that's really close. That looks pretty cool. It is better. It might need to go out a little bit. Yeah, I think it needs to go out a little bit. It needs to be rolled just a little like that, and it will line up with the other one. So we will delete that. Delete the group. Go back in. So let's just do negative 80.5. Okay, so, and then 6.62. We could try 5. 5 might be too far, but we'll try 5. And we'll create that. And again, apply, save all, and load that. Too far. I was concerned about that. But the actual look, they overlap just that hair, which is fine. And it's like that all the way around because we use the circle tool. I mean, you can change the scale, and that would fix that, but it doesn't look bad because it's all the same. Okay, create object, circle, spiral. So if I did 72.5, and this I did, let's just change it to 4 because we changed this, or change it to 3 because we changed the scale a little bit. Oops, where'd my scale go? Oh, what was it before? It was 7.73. Oh, let's do this. Cancel. Reopen. Does it have that? Yes. Okay. So it was 73. Let's do 72.5. Oh, it's because I've got double points. Duh. So delete that. 72.5. And radius we will change to 3. Create that. And apply, edit, save all. Load. Okay, that brought it in a little bit. And it did bring in a little bit more. But I've got it off. I can see the edge there. So my rotation needs to be a little more. Oops, let's delete that group. So rotation angle. Let's see. Change it to a 0.8. Again, this is just trial and error until you get it the way you want it. Okay, it is not showing now. Okay, and it is just barely showing the edge. Cool. It is over the edge here. Let me look at this. It looks like radius is a little bit too far out. No, because it lines up over there. So I think it's actually okay. They just need lifted, which is easy enough. Just grab those. And we will go 2 up just to start with. Too far. Let's go 0.5 down. We could go a little bit more, I think. Luckily, it lined up with the edges pretty good. Otherwise, you could adjust that W, which is the start curve. That would be an option. Or if you could just rotate this one item a little bit. Or, yeah, just that one platform or the one platform in here. Fall through. You could rotate this one platform in here, which if you look right here where the bottom of this is, it lines up right where that seam is there, and it's right there. Same thing, so it looks like it lined up pretty good, and I didn't have to use the W or rotate the 2 platforms, which is awesome. A lot less work. Okay, I do want to go down on these a little bit. Just a little bit. So 0.05 we'll try. More than that. Let's do 0.1. Down. There we go. That looks good. Everything lines up well together. I'm quite happy with that. So that is the start of the Gravitron. Of course, I will have to move everything because of this stupid glitch. So I will be moving it. And I think I will actually just move it back. That way Gorwin will have the extra space over here, because I don't think Freeport's going to be coming this far over, which there's a reason for that, which you will see later on. But at this point, I am going to stop the video, take a break, and there will be another video after this where I have this moved, and I will do the continuation. Hope you enjoyed. Leave comments, please. Thanks.